Imagine a place free of problems, scams, and thievery. A place where comfort is your only concern. Imagine Comfort Time Live. And your host is the one and only world-famous Tom Platania.
All right, good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you, Mr. Cliff, for that introduction.
Hey,
I appreciate that.
Got to do something here.
And you notice, ladies and gentlemen, we have a new voice. Veronica is a little on vacation.
Yeah.
I would say new voice, but
well,
back.
Same old voice.
Yeah, same old voice.
Actually, when somebody comes along and initiates a radio program from WPSL, it comes complete with a broadcast engineer to run the board for you so that you can do your show.
But I was
the first one here.
Yeah, I don't actually consider you a broadcaster. I kind of consider you like a partner on the show for me.
Really?
Absolutely.
I'm glad to hear that. Did you bring your checkbook with you? I like that concept. I like what you're saying.
No, I don't generate any money, so.
Well, a pat on the back is better than nothing.
That's the tough part with Comfort Time Live is it's all sponsor driven. So yeah, I really generate zero income from doing this show. It's the only reason Comfort Time Live is around is because of great companies that have helped sponsor because they understand the benefits of what we're trying to provide out there.
Right. There are problems out there that can be remedied by the simple advice of this show, and one of them being what it's always been. The unlicensed contractors out there.
Absolutely. And I don't know, it's been a little while since you've been on the show, but we've talked about Unlicensed to Steal multiple times.
Mm-hmm.
I actually I think I got that website up and running. Unlicensed2steal.com. And what I've done is, it's going to be a long process because it's very time consuming, but what I've done is when you go to unlicensed2steal.com, you can click on it that says Our Town, and then every state in the United States is listed. And then as people click on their state, eventually they're going to be able to click on their town, and all the unlicensed or unethical activity that's going on in their town will be listed.
So this is like a blacklist of unlicensed contractors.
But a one-stop shop place to find it, plus also information on how to contact that local municipality so that they can turn these people in. Kind of like the...
and then when they get their licenses... then they can pay you to take their name off the list.
Well, that would be blackmail.
No. No, they got to get a license.
There's actually there's a scam online that does that.
Really?
Yeah, it's and there was huge articles by different news places, but what they do is they go after different businesses, and then if these businesses pay them money,
ransom.
Exactly. They take the name off, or they put good things about them on there.
Isn't that the Better Business Bureau? Oh, just kidding. Just kidding.
Well, you got a point there.
Close.
Yeah, because if I'm not a what's the term that they use for somebody who, not sponsor, but accredited. Yeah. If I'm not an accredited Better Business Bureau company, which means
you've given them a lot of money.
I've stroken them a check, then my whole rating structure is thrown out the window. And we've talked about that, like two local.
So you can
companies.
be unscrupulous as long as you pay your dues.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's
two giant companies. We actually did a whole show on it. Two giant companies, Service Experts, and I think it was Aztil. And I pulled them up on the Better Business Bureau. So it's public information, so nothing. One of them had 159 complaints in 3 years, the other one 186. Less than half of those complaints were satisfied to the customers, were taken care of to the customer satisfaction.
Less than half.
Take a guess what the rating was.
Let me just guess.
And they were accredited. They were accredited.
They had a high accredited rating, and even though 50% of their stuff was, wow.
And that many, they were A+.
A+.
A+. Two companies who have been around for a long time had one complaint in the past 3 years. Yeah. Both of the complaints were resolved. They had B+ and C-.
It's like the big bad wolf getting a job as a security guard for the Three Little Pigs.
Yeah, it's
wow.
Yeah, it's just insane.
It's sad.
but that's the world. That's the world we live in, and that's why I always talk about, you know what, there's certain reasons you'd go on Better Business Bureau, but that's not the seek all of finding the right company.
Right, because they can pay their way out
Exactly.
of their own bad deeds.
Exactly. And once again, how many times, now you're a little different than I am, but how many times have you gotten bad service someplace and you've picked up the phone and called somebody to complain about it? Very seldom, if any.
Right.
Most Americans don't. I don't think I've ever picked up the phone. Maybe once or twice in my life have I ever picked up the phone to complain. I've never called the Better Business Bureau.
No.
So, okay, well then how many times has that company had additional complaints that aren't even registered?
Right.
So you have no clue. So it's just anyway. But ComfortTimeLive.com, ladies and gentlemen, that's the place that you can go to listen to the show. Let's say you missed a part of the show, the beginning, the end, the middle, and you want to go back and listen to it. All shows are archived on ComfortTimeLive.com. It just haphazardly put it in Google, and you'll find it. Also, Unlicensed to Steal. We're slowly but surely working on that. That's going to be a long-term process because there's a lot of cities to contact and very, very time-consuming. And then also we have our consulting side of our business, which is CTL Consultants, obviously Comfort Time Live. And that one focuses on helping to educate the contractors and the businesses out there. So Comfort Time Live helps to educate listeners, homeowners, and then the CTL Consultants helps to educate business owners out there if they're struggling with customer service, if they're struggling on helping to organize their business internally. Maybe they're a 1 or 2 man operation and they've been doing this for 15 years and they're still a 1 or 2 man operation. They want to grow, but they don't know how to grow because they're afraid of ruining the customer service that they provide. So that's the different things that we do for each of those. So you can always go and check out any one of those websites. All of them have a contact link there. So if you have feedback on any of them, by all means, do not hesitate. I know we have a lot of business owners that listen. So by all means, if you want to go to CTL Consultants, put your information in there. If there's anything that you're looking for that I can help you out with, maybe you're looking to be a sponsor. We'd love to have you as a sponsor. We have an electrical sponsor. We have an air conditioning sponsor. We're looking for sponsors that have anything to do with your home. From insurance agents to real estate brokers, anything you can think of. We want to create a good family of people that are clean companies that want to separate themselves from other people out there, and that, you know, the guys that work out of the back of their trucks that are unlicensed, that are unethical. Now, just because he's a one-man shop doesn't mean he's a bad guy. He may be working his way up the corporate ladder, but you know, we got to utilize these people that do their best to work within the rules, okay? Because that just takes money out of everybody else's pocket, and you do not want to be a statistic. So you can also reach us on Twitter, hashtag Comfort Time Live. You can reach us on Facebook at Comfort Time Live. In fact, the show we did last Friday, while we were talking and I said that, I actually had a couple people befriend us on Facebook right off the bat. So that's a beautiful thing. We like having that happen. So what we're going to be talking about on the show today is common home problems and some of their solutions. Now, this is according to Energy Star that we found online, and we were going to talk about some of the major issues of what cause the overall problems in your home. Now, there's many things that cause problems, such as high energy bills. Now, these are the top, I guess you would say, the top 10 home problems and solutions. You know, high energy bills is obviously the number one, and that's probably a big part of our show, is helping folks to reduce their energy bills, because that is typically, that's the biggest controllable thing that you have. And I read this in a book one time. You know, on a piece of paper, you want to draw a big circle, and in the middle of that big circle, you want to draw another small circle. And you say to yourself in your life, and some of you folks are probably already know what I'm going to say, why focus on all the things in the big circle that you can't control? Let's focus on the things in the little circle that we can control, and your life will be a lot less stressful. So keep that in mind. And well, high energy bills, a large majority of why your energy bills are so high are things that can fall into that little circle. Mold, mildew, musty odors, also a big issue in some homes, so you want to listen up. Damp basements, we really don't have that problem too much here, but believe it or not, there are some homes, so down in Martin County, there are some homes that have basements in Florida. Go figure that one. Cold floors in the winter, we probably don't have too much of that here, except, they are a little bit chillier. Of course they're going to be, but those issues are probably more for up north. Drafty rooms, dust, moisture on windows, that's a big thing. Ice dams, well, we don't have to worry about that here, but that happens a lot up north, or where we get a lot of snow, obviously, and things of that nature. Peeling paint, big issue. Hot and cold rooms, that is another huge issue down here in South Florida. And pretty much anywhere that has high humidity and high temperatures and high humidity, or very low temperatures, you're going to see that. More so in homes that have higher humidity, it's going to be a problem, and we'll touch base on that briefly here in the show. And then the last one will be just dry indoor air in the winter. And that's something, once again, up north. That's an easy one to solve. We just need to introduce moisture back into the air. That's where you get those electrical shocks as you slide across the...
I mean, with tennis shoes on, slide across the carpet and reach out and touch someone?
Barefoot, tennis shoes, well, tennis shoes would have rubber, so you probably wouldn't get it too much with tennis shoes.
Well, if I walk up to you and my hair is standing straight up, don't let me touch you with my fingertip.
Boy, you get hurt. If the humidity level is low enough and dry enough, the air,
no.
Oh, absolutely, you could hurt.
I've literally seen in the dark sparks fly from your fingertips over static electricity.
And that's strictly just due to lack of humidity in the air. When you get into when you're using gas furnaces or oil furnaces or even high electric heat, and you keep the temperature very, very low, you can really get yourself, because you're drying out the air so much.
That explains why I get zapped at Walmart all the time. I'll be in a store, I'll just barely touch a shelf to look at something, and I get zapped. I thought maybe it was just me, and it might be, but
you're just an electrifying individual.
I'm very vulnerable to static electricity. It just follows me.
Yeah, but that's typically the biggest issue, is the lack of humidity in the air dries it out and causes that problem to happen.
But then I hardly ever need to charge my batteries.
You just hold them between your fingers, and they're right on out there. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to talk a little bit about high energy bills, and we're going to bring that into the dust issue. But first, we're going to go ahead and take our first quick break. You're listening to Comfort Time Live. I'm Tom Platania. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Elite Electric.
We can do it.
Elite Electric.
There's nothing to it.
Elite Electric.
Ooh, amazing.
Elite Electric.
Boogie, woogie, woogie, woogie.
Elite Electric specializes in all of your electrical needs, from security lighting to surge protection and everything in between. How do you think they got their name? Elite Electric. Elite Electric has been family-owned and operated on the Treasure Coast since 1988, and they're recommended by Comfort Time Live. Visit online at EliteElectricAndAir.com and learn more about their services. Elite Electric. Service today. Proud sponsor of Comfort Time Live Friday mornings at 11 on WPSL 1590.
No matter what you want, just pick up your phone, say, come on, Elite.
And we'll get the job done.
We can do it.
Elite Electric.
There's nothing to it.
Elite Electric.
This weather report is brought to you by Nice Air, proudly serving your air conditioning and heating needs since 1973. Ask about their $45 maintenance new customer special. Nice Air Conditioning. Call 877-7-NISAIR.
Partly sunny skies today as clouds will be on the increase. Slightly warmer this afternoon as well, going for a high around 74 degrees. East winds about 5 to 10 miles an hour. Beachgoers and boaters, seas running about 2 to 3 feet, so not too bad there. Water temperature right now about 75 degrees. Overnight tonight, look for a mostly cloudy night as we fall back into the middle 60s. Nice mild night tonight. We could see some scattered showers later in the day on your Sunday. Otherwise, warm, breezy, and partly sunny. And then we see a cold front move on through Saturday night. That's going to drop our temperatures back into the upper 40s for Sunday morning and highs only in the upper 60s as we go into Sunday afternoon. At your forecast, I'm CBS 12 Storm Track meteorologist Craig Gold for WPSL Digital 1590, the talk of the Treasure Coast.
And now back to Comfort Time Live.
All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Again, you can watch us live on the internet at comforttimelive.com. You can watch the audio and video. You can go back and stream in if you want to go back and look at any of the shows we've done. And now most of them, probably 90% of them, are also posted on YouTube.
Now, how many archives of this show do you have at comforttimelive.com?
Well, let's put it this way. February 8th will be our 400th episode.
Wow.
Yeah, it was difficult. Now, difficult to come up with that because there was times where we had 2 shows running at a time. So I went back and did my best to calculate when the 2 shows started, when the 1 show started. So out of those 400, now remember, originally we had started on WPSL using their Ustream account. So I wasn't able to carry some of those over, but I archived some of them. But because of, I guess, some things that happened, the little Ustream URL got deleted according to Ustream because of the
Well, it's the free account.
Yeah.
It's limited space on the server.
Right. So, I mean, you could theoretically say that we should have 400 shows, but I would say in reality, you can probably look at maybe 250 shows that you can go back and look through the archives. You can go on Comfort Time Live and click on the archive link, and you can click on that, and you can see a lot of the shows where we had FPL and H&R Block, and
I was on some of those shows.
You were on a majority of those shows. Majority of those shows. And the nice thing is the way we got it set up with Ustream now on Comfort Time Live is when you're looking at the box on there, right? You can click on the video, and the video link will show you all the previous shows, and you can just keep scrolling down, or just go to YouTube.
Yeah.
And go to YouTube, type in Comfort Time Live, and all the shows that I've uploaded to YouTube are on there.
And if you're on your cell phone, your smartphone, get the Ustream app and look for Comfort Time Live.
You can now it's there, but for some reason you can't watch the pre-recorded ones. At least I haven't been able to. Every time
If
I
you
go,
can get to them, you have to be able to.
yeah, I couldn't figure out how to get to them. But when I go on there, it just says that the show's off the air. So
It'll let you watch the last
it'll
one
let
that
you
was
watch
recorded?
the live one, not the last. I couldn't find the last one.
Oh, okay.
Now, if you go to comforttimelive.com, the last
Then
one
you
will
can.
automatically show.
Okay.
Yeah. But like right now, if you had the Ustream app, you downloaded it, you could actually be watching the show live on your phone or iPad or while the show's going live. It'll let you play it live. So pretty impressive how that works out. Okay, so we're talking about high energy bills. Some of the biggest issues that cause high energy bills. Well, hey, how about we throw the phone number out there? That would help. 340-1590. If you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, you'd like to give me a call here at the studio about anything. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. The show's always open for discussion. If you're having problems with your heater, if you're having problems with your air conditioner, having problems with a contractor, anything you want, just give us a call, 772-340-1590. At any time during the show, you're more than welcome to put your input. We have no issues with that. So, the biggest thing we talk about with energy savings is a leaky home. And the reason leaky homes can cause a lot of that issue, obviously, besides we know our air conditioning systems. That's beating a dead horse. Air conditioning systems draw probably 59% of your electric. However, they'll become even more inefficient if a lot of the heating or air conditioning is just basically seeping out of your home. Or if the heat or cold air are penetrating your home greater than it should in order to cause your heat or air conditioning to work harder than it should. Now, some of the biggest things is you can save typically up to 20% according to Energy Star on heating and cooling costs because of sealing or insulating. So it's a very easy fix. Now, when we talk about sealing, let's talk about sealing the leaks in the house. Now, according to the Energy Star website, now many leaks and drafts are easy to find because they are easy to feel. Now, you can actually you can either put your hand around things, or also a very effective thing to do is going to your local warehouse store. The big, either the big boxes or the little boxes, and they have these little smoke sticks, specifically, not big ones, little small ones. You can actually take those and walk around the doors and windows and light sockets, which you'd be surprised. It's shocking when I saw this done. There were actually more leaks in electrical and lighting socket outlets, the switch outlets, on a wall.
And the ceiling where the lights are, because there's a hole in the
Yep.
ceiling.
Yep. More so than the
Ceiling
windows and the doors. There was bigger leaks in those than there were in the windows and the doors. Because when you cut the hole in the wall, okay, obviously it's wide open behind the other side. Well, the receptacle is not a sealed device.
Right.
It's just a piece of plastic that gets pushed into the wall. So you get a lot of leaks. And what happens is you're getting a lot of hot air or cold air being passed through that. So having those filled is very easy. But the first thing is determining where all these leaks are coming from. And once you get that, you can find, depending on where the leak is, you can go and get different types of material. For instance, you can get a caulk, an easy caulking gun, which are very easy to do, and just find the leaks. Obviously, make sure if it's an electrical socket that you turn off all the power and everything. You don't want to cause problems. Very easily seal those up. In fact, that's something that a good air conditioning company, if they're coming into your home and they're evaluating your house for maybe duct leaks or efficiency, taking the grill that is in the ceiling, and that's typically it'll be the little white vent that's in the ceiling, taking just the outer grill portion down and putting a caulking around the gap where they call it a can that sits in the ceiling through the drywall, and just putting a nice seal around that so that none of the hot air can escape through that. And you'll actually find that some of your vents that sweat a lot, that could be caused by there being hot, humid attic air combining with the cool air that's blowing out of that vent. That could cause that vent to sweat. So and that's what I talk about. It's little tiny things like that that are very simple to do. You don't have to be technically inclined, as long as you can put a screwdriver in a hole and turn it. You can take that grill down and you can put a nice little easy bead of caulk around there, and then just put the grill right back up. And I recommend let the caulk dry a little bit, because what will happen is, if depending on the type of grill, you put that grill back up there and the caulk sticks to the grill. And then if you ever need to go take that grill down for any reason again, it'd be very, very difficult. So let the caulk dry first, and go ahead and put those grills back up. And give you an opportunity to clean the grills off too while you're doing that. But sealing those leaks up are very important. So you can use the caulking, also spray foam, for your electrical receptacles. If you have electrical receptacles, and the foam is probably a good thing. It's a quick, easy. You can get the little red tube that comes with it that helps you spray into tight corners, and just spraying a little bit in there, different cracks and crevices that you may have on the outside, on the inside. So you really, just little things like that can make a major difference. Now, with these leaks, and we're going to go into some other areas that you have leaks. With these leaks, can cause a lot of other issues. Do you notice that your house sometimes becomes much more dusty than usual? Or maybe you're somebody who likes to keep the house very, very clean, and it seems like you're never-ending dusting. You dust the house, and another couple days later, it's dusty again. You see that light layer of dust across the TV, the countertops and things. It doesn't mean that you have a dirty home. Not at all. And what it means is that we probably have a lot of leaks somewhere in the home or in the duct system, which is typically your biggest issue. And we need to address that. Now, all this information you can obtain on Comfort Time Live, or you can go to Energy Star and just type in common home problems, and that'll pull that right up for you, so that you can help reduce. So these are things that we can control every day, and they're little things. It's not replacing a $5,000 or $6,000 air conditioning system. It's little things that for less than $5 you can buy a thing of caulk, and less than $5 you can buy a thing of spray foam, and to help. Now, my only concern is when we make these homes tighter, okay, which is what we've done over the years. My only concern with making it tighter so that there's not a lot of infiltration is that whatever gets into the home is going to stay in the home. And that includes good and bad. Which means as we're opening our front door, or maybe we open our windows for a little bit on a day like today where it's just absolutely gorgeous out, anything that gets into the home that is possibly not healthy for us, bacteria, viruses, contaminants, any type of dust, pollens, whatnot, and then we close up the doors, everything stays in the house. Where does it go? It has nowhere to go.
Filters through your lungs.
Exactly it. It filters through your lungs, or hopefully you invest in a decent air conditioning filter that helps to filter that stuff out and clean the air.
Filter?
Well, a HEPA filter would be top of the line.
Right.
And
now, what about some of those HEPA filters are almost too thick for the air to go through properly.
Right. And that's you have to have a specially designed where you can only pass a certain amount of air through the HEPA filters. But for 90% of homeowners, they really don't need to go that dramatic. Those are for when we're really trying to have a super, super clean environment for different reasons. Most homeowners can get by with a good pleated filter, a decent pleated filter. But we have to make sure that there's no air being pulled through any place else but through that filter. Now, there are some organizations that have come out with filters that are 4 to 5 inches thick that are designed to go into the same grill that a little 1-inch filter is.
Really?
And what it basically does is, let's say the grill is a 20 by 20 grill. Well, what'll happen is this 4-inch filter is 19 by 19, and then it has a 1-inch lip on it. Wow. So what it does is it actually fits up inside the grill, and then that 1-inch lip catches it.
Okay.
So it gives additional filter surface, which those can get up to 12, 13, 14 efficiency rating for the filters, which 16 is pretty much the highest you can get for a residential. But they can be pretty, so a lot of companies that offer those. If you're interested in something like that, give me a call off air, and I can direct you to someone who might be able to get. They don't carry them at the big box stores or anything. It's a special order that you would have to get from a local distributor. Mm-hmm. But they can help. But the biggest thing is just having some good filtration, because all this, we're going to seal up these leaks. We're going to turn our house into a very, very tight, which is good for energy efficiency. Mm-hmm. All right, which years ago, the way we built these houses, it really wasn't a concern. They were very loose, and you didn't have as big of an issue. And you notice that's why we didn't have as many children growing up with allergies and asthma and mm-hmm. things of that nature. These kids sit inside and they play these games all day long. And you know what? Probably a majority of them are the ones with the asthma and the allergies and things of that nature.
Because they're inside cooped up with the dust.
Exactly. And the only thing that does just recirculates through the house. And if you don't have a really good filter or a good duct system that's sealed properly, or a house that's sealed properly, you're just recirculating that gunk. So somebody sneezes in the bedroom, and 20 minutes later, that same bacteria that they sneezed out is in the other side of the house.
Wow. Because
the air conditioning system picked it up and blew it back out. And because we didn't have a good filter, we weren't able to trap and capture those bacteria. Mm-hmm. And it's happening all the time. I mean, that's why you're not supposed to have returns in the bathrooms,
right,
and the kitchen, because either one of the remnants that would be left in either of those
And
locations
that's very well stated.
would then be dispersed through the entire home.
Yeah.
Okay, so if I'm cooking something in the kitchen and I got to return there, it's going to suck that odor in.
It's going to stink up the whole
It's
house
gonna
with
st-
whatever you're cooking,
Exactly it.
which is the same reason you don't want an intake in the bathroom.
Exactly it. So they have exhaust fans in the bathroom that go outside.
Right.
Yes,
Right,
and
right,
that's
right.
the good thing. Now, those are things that we actually are going to have a guest on the show probably in February, Steve Larson from Larson's Fans. He's got this revolutionary bathroom fan that we're looking for a test home. And on the 400th episode, we're going to announce who the test home is. And what this test home we're looking for, we've already got a few submissions. What we're looking for is just a good average home. Okay, could be just a husband and wife, but somebody who doesn't have like a super low electric bill already, has just an average, maybe somebody who has an electric bill that's above 12 cents per square foot. Okay, so if you're paying more than 12 cents per square foot, then you would be a candidate. If you have a house that's maybe between 1,400 and 2,000 square foot, then you would be a candidate. And what we're doing with this test home is we are going to give products to these homeowners at no charge. Okay? They're going to be simple products or simple things that these homeowners can do to save energy. But then we're going to record the data. And because it's a listener, we're not paying them any money. So we want to get their feedback so they can call and say, hey, you guys put this in my home and wow, it did this. Or we put this in my home and it did nothing. Okay, so this way we can get a true rating of whether these products. So we got a couple different companies that we'll work with, but Steve Larson from Larson's Fans is going to be one of them. And he claims that this product can save about 10 to 15% on your cooling bill because of all the air that escapes out of all the leaks that happen in those areas. So sealing the leaks. So the first thing is what we're talking about is going around with these little sticks. I recommend that you get that at any one of your hardware stores. You can get those little sticks. And what they basically do is you would walk around your window and you would hold it up and you would see the smoke either suck in or see the smoke blow out, so that you would notice that there is a leak there. And now if you have any problems like this, give us a call at the studio, 340-1590. And we can kind of talk about it. And then using the different things like the caulk and the spray foam or weather stripping around your doors and whatnot would also have that. So depending on where you have the leak, you can go to any one of your home improvement stores, and a lot of those folks there will just let them know where the leak is, and they could probably give you the best ideas of how to repair those leaks yourself. Now, if they're major leaks, then of course you're going to want to contact, let's say it's a major leak for a window, you're obviously going to want to contact the window company. And we had that organization called Self that was on the show, and they do something similar to that where they come out to the home, they look at all the different energy efficiency things. So that's also an option. Now, the ductwork having leaks in it, that is a big thing. The problem is that, and this is why a couple years ago the government had that. They had the money that they offered, the tax credit for having your ducts sealed, because they realized that about 20 to 25% of the air going into these duct systems is pretty much blowing right out through cracks and holes and leaks that you'll never see because it's in your attic. And a lot of that causes people to think that the system that they currently have in their home is undersized because it's not cooling properly. Well, besides most of the air leaking into the attic, the system is getting older, so it's not at its peak capacity to begin with. So immediately when you go out and you're looking to invest in a new system, the first thing they say is, I want to go to 4-ton, or I want to go to a bigger system because this one's not cooling right. And you know what? A lot of air conditioning companies out there will just nod their head and agree with the homeowner because obviously they want to get the sale. And obviously the higher the tonnage the system, the more money. So they agree with the homeowner and they make the sale. Why? Well, because they agreed with the homeowner. But as a professional, the biggest thing is to do what we're talking about. You need to have a load calculation done on the house to determine. And if the house comes out to a 3-ton system and it's struggling with the 3-ton system that you currently have, that means we have a problem in other places. All right. Now that's something that CTL Consultants does do, is we come out to your home for a small fee and we do an evaluation of your home. If you have other air conditioning companies coming out there, what we'll do is help evaluate which direction is best for you to go. Of course, let you make your own educated decision. But that's an important thing, is to make sure that you know what size belongs in there. And then once we determine what the size is for energy efficiency, then we can find out, okay, obviously a 3-ton is what belongs in here, so that means I must have leaks or another issue someplace else in the home, and we need to address that. So let's not put a Band-Aid on it by putting a bigger system in. Let's find the problem. So we're going to go ahead and take another quick break. 340-1590 is the number. If you have any problems, questions you want to ask about your home and your energy savings, give us a call, 340-1590.
Of course, when it's real cold, there's no problem finding the drafts. Right?
Elite Electric.
We can do it.
Elite Electric.
There's nothing to it.
Elite Electric.
Ooh, amazing.
Elite Electric.
Boogie, woogie, woogie, woogie.
Elite Electric specializes in all of your electrical needs, from security lighting to surge protection and everything in between. How do you think they got their name? Elite Electric. Elite Electric has been family owned and operated on the Treasure Coast since 1988, and they're recommended by Comfort Time Live. Visit online at EliteElectricAndAir.com and learn more about their services. Elite Electric. Service today. Proud sponsor of Comfort Time Live Friday mornings at 11 on WPSL 1590.
No matter what you want, just pick up your phone, say, come on, Elite.
And we'll get the job done.
We can do it.
Elite Electric.
There's nothing to it.
Elite Electric.
WPSL kicks off every weekday morning at 6 with The Morning Show with Mr. G and Charlie Neal News, followed at 9 by Swap Shop Radio. Monday at 10, it's Treasure Coast Health Week. Tuesday's Money Info from Princeton Research. Wednesday, it's Bone Talk with Florida Orthopedic Specialist. Thursday, Joanne's World of Nutrition. Friday's the Raybuck Law Hour. On Monday at 11, it's Darrell Bank, Dominion Financial. Tuesday, Real Estate Pros. Wednesday, T-Mar Tech. Thursdays, Dr. Stuart Shipe's Holistic Health Hour. And Friday, Comfort Time Live with Tom Platania. At noon, it's Rush Limbaugh, followed at 3 by Tom Sullivan. At 6:05 p.m. Mondays, it's Sue Ellen Sanders. Tuesday, the Ladies Links for Golf Magazine. Wednesday, Rudy Howard's African American Scene. Thursday, Princeton Financial. And Friday nights, it's High School Sports. All on WPSL AM 1590. These are the many reasons why we are the talk of the Treasure Coast. 11:44 right now. You're listening to Comfort Time Live with Tom Platania.
All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. ComfortTimeLive.com is the place to go to watch the show, to watch the archives. You can either contact me with questions, suggestions. We've had many listeners do that. Many of them ask me to come out to their home and help them resolve some issues that other folks have not been able to figure out. And so far, we have one gentleman, we're just waiting to hear back from him to see if the solution was a success. And if it was, then we'll have a 100% success rate with our clients. So that's a good thing. And so I'm anxious to hear back from him. So if he's listening to the show, I'd love to hear if you've already gone ahead and completed what we talked about, or if you're still working on making that happen. So that was a good thing. So it doesn't hurt to at least pick up the phone and call me, and you'll know that things are working well. So now we talked about sealing leaks. Ductwork is a big thing. Now it's actually the law. It's a code that when you replace your heating and air conditioning system, you must have your ducts checked for being sealed. And what that code is first off, I think it's an excellent code, is for any joint or duct that has at least a 30-inch clearance around that joint, the contractor by code has to seal it if it's leaking, by code. And I actually know a couple dealers that I'm working with over on the West Coast, because I actually work with air conditioning companies nationally now, working on load calculations and energy calculations. So I have people calling and helping contractors all over the nation now with their energy calcs and load calcs, because actually right now there's about 30 states in the United States that make it mandatory that load calculations be done. Georgia's getting ready to be the next one to come on board here. So that means that every air conditioning company, if they want to be play by the rules, that they have to pull a permit and do a load calc. So with doing this, is I found that that there was a couple of guys that got in trouble for not doing the duct seal on when they replaced the air conditioning system. Now, I was actually shocked when I found out that they got caught, because I don't know too many inspectors, unless the air conditioning system is in the attic. I don't know too many inspectors that crawl up in the attic every time, look at the ductwork every time. I know there's a couple here and there, but I would be shocked at what percentage do. So if the air conditioner is not up in the attic and it's down in a garage or a closet or something like that, chances of them going up in the attic to look at that duct is pretty slim. Now, if they do, my hat's off to you. I think you're doing a great job if you do, because that's helping to enforce the code, and instead of only picking and choosing which laws and which codes we want to abide by. So what that's going to do is that's going to help to decrease the percentage of air leakage in your duct, which is going to mean that your unit's going to be that much more efficient. Means more of the conditioned air. If you're spending money on a good filter and you have leaks in your house still and leaks in your duct, it's not doing what it should be doing. So you need to make sure you take care of this. Now, when we talk about energy efficiency, obviously a lot of the warmth or cool air that we have in our home, we want to make sure it stays in there as much as possible. So one of the big things, besides sealing our leaks in the house, is also adding insulation. There's so many homes that I go into that have 2, 3, 4, 5 inches of insulation, which is just insane. It is not expensive at all to have someone come out and blow in insulation. Now, if you're listening to this nationwide, a majority of utility companies offer rebates. I know our local utility company, Florida Power and Light, offers a rebate per, I think it's per square foot of insulation blown in, for you to reduce the cost of having the insulation blown in. And even if you have a tight attic, you'd be surprised what these insulation companies can do. And you should have a minimum of R30 to R38. And according to Energy Star recommends that you should have a minimum of R38 in there, and that is R30 is 12 inches, so R38 would be between 12 and 15 inches of insulation. And that's just very easy to do. Just take a ruler up there and just stick it in there, and you'd see how high it is. Now, when you look up in your attic, if you notice that you can see any of the ceiling joists, or if it's very uneven, then you definitely know that you need insulation blown in. And you'll be amazed at how it will drop your utility bill. Now, when we did that load calculation on here in the studio that one day, we actually noticed how much different it was tonnage-wise. We went up over a half a ton just by changing the amount of insulation that was in the house. So you really want to look at that. Now, in your much colder climates, you definitely want to look at something a little larger like R49. But there's different options out there depending on what you're looking for. There's all types of different options of insulation. There's what they call Icynene products, which are like a spray-on insulation. There's the batten, which is like the the little Pink Panther you see with them unrolling the the pink insulation. You have the blown-in insulation, which is really good for tight spots or even wide-open attics because it's the least expensive.
Well, cotton candy-looking insulation's prettier.
Exactly. Yeah. Oh, you talking about the blown-in one or the?
No, the blow-in's kind of gray and.
Well, they have
looking.
different types.
Really?
They have the some of the better blown-in one is the white stuff.
Yeah.
That's real good, very fluffy, very good, very easy, very inexpensive. But they have different types of blown-in insulation, which will give you different R values per inch on how they're rated. But the white fluffy stuff, those guys can blow that stuff in some really tight spots. Which even if you have a very, very low pitch roof, I strongly recommend that you invest in that, and it's going to make a huge difference in the winter. It's going to make a huge difference in the summertime. So, let's talk about the dust issues. Obviously, the dust issues are going to come from leaks in the house, but we need to get rid of it once it gets in there. And some of the places that are going to come from this is, if you haven't changed your filter in your air conditioning system in a while, another big one is your vacuum cleaner. Your vacuum cleaner, you're going around with the vacuum and you're sucking all this stuff up from your carpets and whatnot, and it goes into the bag, and then what do you do with it? You take it out and you dump it in your trash can. So as you're dumping it in your trash can,
you're releasing some dust.
You're releasing more dust. Now you do have the vacuum cleaner bags, which those are almost kind of going away, obsolete, because of all these tunnel visions and sealed bags and the Dyson type of concept where you just got the canister. So my recommendation is what's that?
The bagless.
The bagless ones, yeah. Exactly. But even the bagged ones, the dirt goes into the bag, but it has to exhaust the air that it's sucking in, and a lot of that air is still. Basically, you're sucking the dirt up off the floor, and some of it, because it's not filtered well, just blowing right back into the air again.
Take them right out to the dumpster. Don't undo your vacuum cleaner in the house.
No, take it outside, open it up, dump it outside, put it in a plastic bag, tie it up, throw it away. But you want to make sure that you got a good vacuum cleaner. You make sure if it has a filter on it, that you change that filter and that quite frequently, because it sucks air in with the dirt and whatnot, and still some of that air all that air has to get exhausted someplace. But what's supposed to happen is the dirt and whatnot's supposed to go into the bag. Well, that's why you have another filter in there, because that air gets filtered across whatever dirt and dust doesn't go into the bag. But a lot of times those filters don't work properly.
You quite often will have dust coming out of the vacuum cleaner.
Yeah, absolutely. You notice when you go over like a big white powdery thing, you put the vacuum cleaner over, and you got stuff, white powdery residue coming out the box. So that could help. Basically, what you're doing is you're sucking it up and you're just dispersing it back into the air. So you want to make sure that you take caution when you're using your vacuum cleaner. If it's an old vacuum cleaner, you think that you're doing great by vacuum 3 or 4 times a day, but all you're doing is just taking the dirt that's settled and just blowing it right back around the house. So then when you sit there and go, well, gosh, why is the house so dusty all the time? I just cleaned. I've heard that a lot of times. Mm-hmm. Well, that's the big reason. You just cleaned. All you did basically was just circulate the dust back in the air again. Wow. And after a couple hours, all the stuff just kind of meshed together and landed back on the countertops and whatnot, and now you're able to see it again. So you want to make sure you take care. But all of this is just going to continue to happen if you don't make sure your house is sealed. Very easy. It's very easy to do. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to do it. It doesn't take a ton of money where you got to spend hundreds and hundreds of dollars unless you got some big issues. But a lot of these smaller things can be easily repaired just by you doing it. If you want to have somebody come out and do it, like with the air conditioning and the duct system, you want to give a good company a call, like Elite Electric and Air Conditioning. They'll even come out and do the sealing on the electrical sockets and stuff for you. They do that as well. So you can have them take care of kind of both things. They'll check the duct system for you. They'll do the electrical inspection and whatnot for you. And leaks in the ducts, through doors, windows, these are all the different places that the dust is going to come into. So you may have a good filter, but if you still have continuous on-spot pour of dust and what coming into the house, it's, you're beating a dead horse because you're just constantly reintroducing it into the air. So we want to look at things like that. Some of the other stuff we talked about when we were talking about hot and cold rooms, that's a big issue. Well, what happens like at the house that I'm renting right now. 2-story, okay, not a huge house, but the problem is that the air conditioner and the thermostat are downstairs, okay, and they have these what we call bypass returns, which they're not a direct return to the unit. It's basically just using the air environment to suck the return from downstairs. Okay, well, what happens is I have to crank the thermostat downstairs down to 73 degrees, 72 to 73 degrees, just for it to be 75, 76 upstairs.
That's right. Yeah. Okay.
Yep, because the hot air rises, the air conditioner doesn't stay on long enough to suck that hot, humid air from upstairs down, recirculate it, and put it back out.
And if you close any doors,
yep,
that's make
it's
it
even
harder.
worse. Exactly. So that's why I always recommend that all your returns should be direct returns, which means there's a physical duct that goes back and directly to the air conditioning return. So when we talk about hot or cold spots, what happens is it's somebody who's in that room that's extremely hot goes and turns the thermostat down in order to try to make that room cooler or warmer. Well, then you're using more energy than you should. So having those hot and cold spots checked in the room to find out why they're hotter or colder than others is a huge thing. Now, when I'm doing these duct layouts and designs for air conditioning contractors, an air conditioning contractor will come tell me, and I'll ask them, well, what size, how much air, what size duct do you think belongs in that house? And they'll always give me the rule of thumb. The rule of thumb is, well, so many CFMs per square foot. So the room's 120 square foot. It's 1 CFM per square foot. I want 120 cubic feet per minute to blow into that room. Okay, well, did you take into consideration that there's 2 huge, gigantic windows that are facing south and east on those 2 walls? They're gigantic windows. No, we didn't take that into consideration. We didn't take into consideration that there's going to be computer software and whatnot. So we may put 120 CFMs in that room, but we need twice as much because of the heat load that we have in that room. So you have to take this. So what's going to happen? The person who's in that room is going to run out to the thermostat, and they're going to crank the thermostat down. So now we're the right temperature in that room, but the entire rest of the house is 2 to 3 degrees, 4 degrees colder than it should. So we're wasting all this energy.
Wow.
And we get nowhere with it. So hot and cold spots are very important. 90% of the time, it has to do with the air conditioning system, but there can also be other issues. So make sure that you take care of that. Well, I hope everybody had a Merry Christmas and a Happy Holiday. Was Santa Claus good to you, Cliff?
Santa Claus?
Yeah.
Are you kidding? I mean, we beat him up. He don't come to my neighborhood. No, actually, I got this beautiful sculpture.
Nice.
Made of coal. But
well, I hope everybody is going to have a very safe New Year.
Oh, yeah. The New Year is going to be way better than the old year this time. Really, it will.
Always is. Yeah. Always is. Always is. Well, thanks for listening to Comfort Time Live, ladies and gentlemen. Don't forget to go to ComfortTimeLive.com. We'll be back here next Friday. See you next year.
Wow. And there he goes, Tom Platania, Comfort Time Live. Don't forget ComfortTimeLive.com. And, of course, thank you for listening to WPSL on your Friday morning. We've got the Rush Limbaugh